Sup everybody, how's everybody doing? I was about to do like a Hodge twin style intro right there, but I don't want to get too crazy now. So guess what we're going to be talking about today, as you can see from this nice background right here. Am I recording? Yes. We're going to be chatting about Khamzat Chimaev again today. Now I know this is 2 videos in a row, and typically I like to space my Khamzat videos a little bit apart because I'm an MMA channel, right? Like I'm a UFC MMA channel, not a Khamzat channel. So I try to spread it apart a little bit. However, I did see these kind of rumors kind of floating around. And also I wanted to say a couple of things, for my last video. Just give a little bit of more clarifying thoughts. Because first of all, watch this video. Don't click off just yet. And then go check out the other video, my last video I made about Khamzat Chimaev and stuff. The last video was more so about why I wanted Khamzat to fight someone else first and then fight maybe someone like Gilbert Burns after. That was pretty much the gist of that video. And this video is going to talk more about the actual potential fight because I'm starting to look at the rankings. There's these rumors kind of rumbling around. So we're going to talk about that in this video. Now, I do want to say, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content similar to this. As you can see, I have a different style, I think, than other channels as the way I make my videos. I'm much more read along, reaction, commentary, watch videos, that type of channel, Try to be entertaining as well. So, my last video where I had chatted about why I didn't want Khamzat to fight Gilbert right away, I think there was a couple of things that people were misinterpreting. For example, like there was some people who were saying stuff like, you're underestimating Khamzat, he can beat Gilbert. First of all, I didn't make a claim in that video as to who would win that fight. My issue with Khamzat fighting Gilbert is not that I don't think he would win or not, right? My bigger issue is that I believe, again, that when stars are rising, it's better for them to have as many fights as possible before they get to the top. Because sometimes I think people make the mistake of thinking that when you come into the UFC, you're like at your best or close to the best you are. It's not true, right? John Jones, when he fought Daniel Cormier, is much better than the John Jones who fought Stephan Bonner. Charles Oliveira, who fought Dustin Poirier recently, is way better than the Charles Oliveira who fought Max Holloway a long time ago. I can just give you a list of things, that go that way. Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, when he fought Eddie Alvarez, was way better than the Conor McGregor who fought Marcus Brimage, or the Conor McGregor that fought Diego Brando, or Dennis Seaver. You know what I mean? Like, people improve and get better in fights. They get every single training camp, every single appearance makes them get better, more confident, more experience, know how to use their tools better, figure out themselves. And some people have losses along the way and still eventually become champions. Most people, in fact, you could say, have losses and then become champion. Khabib, do you think that Khabib was as good in his fight against Gleison Tibau or Michael Johnson compared to the Khabib we saw against Dustin Poirier or Justin Gaethje? 2 totally different monsters. Now, what does that have to do with Khamzat? Like, the point I'm trying to make is I'm not trying to say whether or not that Khamzat could beat Gilbert or not. My point is I want to see him fight someone. I want to get him to get as much experience before he goes into the top 5 or top 3. Now, let's just dive into this a little bit, okay? As you guys can see, Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns now targeted for UFC 273. First of all, these are just rumors. I haven't seen like MMA Junkie, MMA Fighting. I haven't seen it anywhere on ESPN. Haven't seen it anywhere there, okay? These are just pretty much rumors, but I'm just kind of looking at the rankings, and then it's like, dude, who knows what the UFC wants to do at this point? I'm obviously not the matchmaker. They're not going to care what I have to say about what I think Khamzat's path should be, but so it's possible that they're going to go for this. So let's talk about this, okay? Khamzat versus Gilbert Burns potentially fighting with each other. So, again, I would have preferred for Khamzat to have any number of fights, 1 fight at least, maybe 2 fights before he cracks in the top 3. I'm thinking the UFC is going to give him, if anything, even if they don't go this Gilbert Burns path, it's pretty much 1 fight outside the top 5, and then either straight to a title shot or within top 3 after that. So he's very close to the title. And like I've said a million times, I believe that Khamzat Chimaev will become champion either by or in 2023. So that's either this year or next year, Khamzat becomes champion. And I also believe that Kamaru retires this year. By the way, I saw this headline over here. I don't know what exactly this is referring to. There was some crazy... I have to actually go watch the video of what Ali actually said about this. Because I did see something about, if he gets enough money, they can make the fight. It doesn't have to be 100 mil. It's kind of weird, though. This title's a little bit like a greedy manager driving wedge. I don't know what's up with that title, but anyways. Here's my only one thing, okay? Gilbert Burns will obviously be Khamzat's hardest fight to date. Obviously, right? Gilbert Burns is better than the Leech. He's better than... who's that name of the guy he one-punch KO'd, man? The fight before the Leech, man. I already forgot his name. And then the 2 other guys he fought, okay? Here, Gilbert Burns could possibly be one of Khamzat's toughest style matchups in the octagon. You know what I mean? Gilbert Burns could actually potentially be a harder matchup than someone like, let's say, Colby, for example. Now, that doesn't mean that Colby can't beat Gilbert, but it's just the style matchup. You know what I mean? For example, we've seen Khamzat has really good grappling. He's got good submissions, good top control, good ground and pound, knockout power. We've seen that. We haven't really seen if Khamzat has 5-round conditioning. We haven't seen that because we haven't seen him fight in a high-level 5-round fight. So we're not sure about that. How will his striking fare against someone who he can't take down? We'd have to kind of see. He has knockout power, but someone like Gilbert Burns, because the issue is that Gilbert Burns is extremely comfortable on the ground. Do you remember when he was fighting Usman, he kept on telling Usman, yeah, come in. Please feel free to come in. Because he's confident on the ground, right? And in the stand-up, Gilbert's got pretty decent stand-up too. So what type of game plan will Khamzat employ? Khamzat said he'd want to jump in his... I saw something where Khamzat said, he'd want to submit him or whatever. Do I think that Khamzat and his coaches would employ a game plan where they grapple with Gilbert, or where they kind of do some grappling against the cage, strike, grappling, strike, or would they just be like, yo, let's take him down and let's just roll with him on the ground and see what happens? To me, wherever he goes, it's not going to be easy, right? Now, maybe he makes it look easy, but all I can do is just go off of what I've seen so far and what I've seen off of Gilbert so far. In my opinion, I think if Khamzat is as good as I think he is, he wins the fight. Okay, if he's as good as I think he is. Based on what I saw in his fight against the Leech, do I see anybody doing to the Leech what Khamzat did? I don't even think Kamaru could beat the Leech that quickly. Now, you have to keep in mind that different fighters have different styles, right? Some people like Francis, let me give you an example. Do I think that Francis and Stipe could both dominate the number 15 heavyweight in the division? Yes, but they would do it differently. Stipe would dominate him one way. Francis would just viciously knock him out within a minute or something. But they would both dominate him just in different ways. I think that the way Kamaru fights and the way Khamzat fights, he's not going to dominate. Kamaru's not going to dominate the Leech the same way. He will dominate the Leech, but do I think he's going to pick him up, start screaming, throw him to the ground, start ground and pounding, choke him out quickly? Maybe. Or I think that Kamaru would probably just, take his time, eventually take him down, and then do a first round finish. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, different fighters have different brutality and different fighters have different aggressiveness, but different fighters can still dominate the same person, if that makes sense. However, that being said, even when you take that into account, do I think that someone is going to dominate the Leech like that, super bad? Dude, that's hard to see ever. So in my eyes, I saw that. I saw the way Khamzat, his grappling match against Jack Hermansson, really impressive. Incredibly impressive. I think that people don't understand how impressive it is what he did in there. Jack Hermansson is a legit middleweight who's ranked number 6, so just outside the top 5, who's had good experience inside the octagon, not some sort of newbie. dude, Khamzat did look really good against him. You don't have to be a wrestling expert to watch that and be like, wow, that's impressive. You don't have to be a wrestling expert for that. You know what I mean? So his grappling, obviously he could take Gilbert down at will. There's no chance of Gilbert stuffing the takedowns. No chance. He could clinch him at will and win the clinch anytime. No way Gilbert's going to win that. In terms of knockout power, Gilbert does have knockout power too. Like who exactly, if they just stood and just hit the same guy, who hits harder? I have no idea, right? Because that's, you know, like Khamzat brutally, you know what? It's pissing me off. Let me find out what that guy's name is, man. Because I don't like that. I don't know that guy's name who got one punch KO'd. It's like at the tip of my tongue. But for some reason, I'm just missing it. Gerald Mearshart. Yes, that was literally on the tip of my tongue. So, when was the last time that Gilbert one punched KO'd someone? I think Damian Maia might have been the last one. No, Damian Maia was TKO as well, but pretty quickly. KO this, KO that. Last one KO here. He did drop Kamaru as well. So I can't really say who exactly hits harder. I can lean maybe Khamzat hits harder because I think it's Khamzat's bigger as well. So I'll just say Khamzat hits harder, but I don't think there's like a frightening power difference, right? Like when Francis fights someone like Curtis Blades, for example, or when Francis fights Stipe, there's a frightening power difference, right? Do I think when Khamzat, even if Khamzat hits harder, I don't think the power difference is like this big, right? So I would say that he has the grappling advantage in the clinch. I think he could take him down at will. Now the submission advantage, look, you can be as big of a fanboy, god damn, man, of Khamzat as you want, but look at Gilbert's grappling credentials listed right here. He's got some very, very, very legit grappling, okay? I don't know. Khamzat, I know he has some wrestling credentials. For freestyle wrestling, yes. Right here, yes. That's what I meant. For when it comes to clinch work, when it comes to grappling against the cage, Khamzat's going to obviously win that and dominate that. But when they're rolling on the ground, that's going to get interesting. Because if it was a pure submission match, like let's say no punching, no kicking, they just like they're doing a grappling match like at ADCC or any sort of the submission tournaments, I think Gilbert would probably win that because his grappling, I don't think anybody in the welterweight division's beating Gilbert in a pure grappling match, right? If there's no punching, no kicking, no anything. However, if you mix Khamzat's strength, size, his ground and pound, Gilbert might have still a tough time to lock in submissions depending how things go. But I can't give the submission advantage to Khamzat because Gilbert's credentials are just too big for that. We have to see what happens when they actually fight. Now, if Khamzat ended up submitting Gilbert, I just think at that point, you know, we have someone who's going to become a champion for a very, very long time. Okay, but I think the keys to victory for Khamzat in this fight would be pressure standing, dropping against the cage to gas Gilbert out, and then when you take him down, don't be too crazy and get into like a scrambles and rolling match. Ground and pound from full guard, ground and pound from half guard, get into full mount, ground and pound. Have Gilbert turn over on the stomach, ground and pound. To me, I don't think it would be a smart idea to get into a rolling match without much ground and pound. So I'm trying to establish that Khamzat has the grappling advantage in the sense of taking him down at will, clinch against the cage or in the center, he has the advantage. And then I think that he could potentially nullify any submission attempt of Gilbert's, potentially, but again, that I have to see. I'm not confident in that pick. Standing, here's the problem. Gilbert has stood up for longer periods of time against higher level competition in the octagon. Khamzat has knocked out people, he's dominated people, but has Khamzat stood and trade with top 5 level UFC fighters yet? We haven't seen it. So it's hard for me to predict who's going to win in a pure striking match, because either Khamzat's going to show something crazy impressive, because he's been working on his Muay Thai recently. I saw he was at I forgot which camp it was in. I saw he was training his striking, but again, he can either surprise, because the problem is a lot of this is just speculation. Either he's going to surprise us with his striking, and we're like, oh my god, I can't believe his striking is that good, or he's not going to, and it's going to be kind of where we think. But this is why, again, I'm telling you guys, I would prefer if he could fight someone like, the only openings now are because Bilal, Vicente are booked. I know Leon's going to fight Kamaru next at this point. Colby, Jorge are booked. So his openings are either Gilbert, Stephen Thompson. But again, like I said in my last video, give Thompson a break, man. Just, you gave him Gilbert. You gave him Bilal Muhammad. Just give Stephen Thompson like a striker or something. Just the guy's old. He's almost done. Like, give the guy a break. Thompson's such a nice guy. If they wanted to match him against Thompson, go ahead. I'm just saying, come on, give the guy a break. Magny, again, who I think he should be fighting next, because that's what I think he would beat Magny, by the way. But again, experience, get him inside there. Sean Brady, I have no interest in seeing that fight. I mean, Brady's last fight, I know he beat Chiesa, but who's really interested in Sean Brady right now? I'm not really interested in him. That was cool he beat Chiesa, but there's other people I would rather see Khamzat fight. Chiesa, again, if they want to do it, they can do it. It would be a good test of his grappling as well, I guess. But again, Chiesa is just coming off a loss. To me, Magny's good. Magny, to me, is just the best option, man. Again, so that's what I mean. Like, a lot of what I'm saying is speculation. I'm just guessing like this or this or this, and maybe this is that or this is that, because we haven't seen him enough fights. A lot of what I'm doing is portraying off of what I saw in the fight against the Leech, the grappling match I saw against Hermanson, and then his other quick finishes. I think, again, I think the guy has potential to be champion. But again, the reason on my last video I was saying that we should rise him up not too quickly is because if you rise him up too quick and he loses, it's not the end of the world. Like, I still think he becomes champion, right? Because people can lose and still become UFC champion. But you don't, or you could have a situation where you raise him successfully like they did Conor, for example, or slowly like they did with Kamaru, or anybody, name any champion, right? Where they just kind of went up slowly, and then they became champion. Again, I'm not saying whether or not Khamzat can or cannot beat Gilbert. I'm just saying I would prefer if his next fight is against Neil Magny, because then I could see more of what he can do. These predictions I make would be easier. He gets more experience, another solid training camp. He fights someone just outside the top 5 who's experienced. To me, that's the way to go, but just my opinion. Again, here's the Leech fight. I was going to play it. This is a very bad frame to start on. I don't know why I did that. Again, very, very impressive stuff that he did here, right? Obviously, if he's fighting Gilbert and he clinches with Gilbert, he's going to win that. If he tries to take Gilbert down, he's going to take him down at will. But the opposite is like Gilbert would welcome that. If Gilbert's going to be like, all right, you want to take me down? Let's go. Let's roll and see what happens. Which Khamzat, again, has to be careful of, because when he fights Kamaru and they get into a grappling match, if he gets Kamaru on his back, don't really have to worry about the submission threats as far as we know, right? If he gets Colby on his back, don't really got to worry about submission threats. You get Jorge on his back, don't really got to worry about submission attempts. You get Leon on his back, don't really got to worry about submission attempts. You get Gilbert on his back, got to worry about submission attempts. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the video. Again, I hope you guys did enjoy it. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more content similar to this. I went to the 18-minute mark, which I was not anticipating, but sometimes that just happens. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more videos out soon. Khamzat videos, regular MMA videos. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. And leave some comments about what you think of the video. Peace.